Now I'd like to introduce Jerry, my friend, who is director of the MORPC Center for Energy and Environment. I have not met a more passionate person about their job, and Jerry is definitely passionate about what he does for our Center for Energy and Environment. You know, once you meet him, you'll immediately get to know his enthusiasm, addressing environmental issues, and his deep passion for stewardship for our economic and natural resources. Jerry, would you please share a few words on the local food plan?
In just a moment, the director is going to throw out the first cucumber for our event today. And Director, you know, I appreciate that you said think globally and act locally, but today's motto is think globally and eat locally. That's what we're about today. And the director also mentioned that he talked about 2 generations back. 2 generations for me, of course, is my grandmother. And my grandmother, for the first 27 years of my life, lived right here in this neighborhood. First in a little house on Oak Street back there, and then in a house just about 2 blocks from here on Broad Street. She got all of her food from a little IGA on Oak Street or from the Central Market downtown. She never had a car, so when she needed to get groceries, she would either walk or she would take the bus. And what I remember is that the food at her house was always simple, it was always fresh, it was always healthy, and it was always prepared by her, usually from basic ingredients. And between then and now, a lot has changed in our country and in our region. Nearly all of our food today comes from far away. The neighborhood IGA, both this one over here on Oak Street and in many neighborhoods, is now a thing of the past, and the Central Market is long gone. In many neighborhoods today, the primary source of food is the fast food restaurant and the local convenience store. Walking and taking the bus are out. Taking the car and driving, if you have access to one, is in. Not surprisingly, we as a community are more obese than ever, and we're seeing more nutrition-related health problems than ever. Now, the troubling economic circumstances of the last 2 years clearly show that our country is again going to have to change. It has to and it will. And our food system has to change and it will change as well. We need to bring, I should really say we need to bring back fresh, local, healthful food to our neighborhoods and to our tables. We need to produce and process more of our food locally and reduce our food system's overwhelming dependence on petroleum, of which we now import about 70% of what we use. We cannot leave the security of our food system in the hands of faraway countries, some of which don't like us very much. We need to use agriculture and food processing to employ more people locally in jobs that are secure and rewarding. Secure and rewarding because they fulfill a basic necessity of life, namely our food. Now, MORPC's mission is to be the regional voice and a catalyst for sustainability and economic prosperity. We believe that regions have begun to compete against each other based on sustainability, based on which is the most resilient and sustainable. In other words, which can provide for the needs of the population in the most secure and durable ways. Our local food assessment and plan reflects that mission. The assessment helps us understand the local food system here in Central Ohio as it exists today, and the plan is a roadmap for making fresh, healthful and affordable food more accessible, and for creating good new jobs, and for preserving our landscape, and for reducing our dependence on petroleum and all the disruptions to which it will likely be subjected in the future. We at MORPC are proud of this assessment and plan, but like any other plan, it will only be as good as the implementation that goes into it. So I want to tell you that MORPC is turning immediately to implementation. The volunteers of our agriculture and agriculture and food systems working group will be working with staff to implement these 24 recommendations in the months ahead. but we can't do it alone. We need strong partners, and so we're inviting the community to join us in this effort. And as it's obvious today, we already have some strong partners. We have the Department of Agriculture, the Ohio Department of Agriculture, we have the Columbus Foundation, and we have the many organizations that are represented here today. So we're very confident that this plan is going to be implemented. Now, before I turn the mic over to our Board Secretary, Eric Phillips, I too also want to recognize Brian Williams. He is the consultant who basically drove this entire project from the beginning. If you look in the back at the acknowledgement, that's why his name is first, because it has his fingerprints and his handiwork all over it. And so if you get a chance before you leave today, please say thank you to Brian for the wonderful product that he's helped us to deliver to the people of Central Ohio.